Kanye West, Kanye West, Kanye West. Going straight in on this one. Going straight on this one. Obviously, it seems Kanye West was booked to perform at Wireless this year. However, there's backlash to his previous anti-Semitic comments against the Jewish community. These comments have now therefore influenced calls for him to be banned. And hot off the press, NEWSFLASH, the Home Secretary has now announced that Kanye West will be banned from entering the UK. Now that's fresh news. Just before I touch that, basically before I touch that, let's just go into the brief histrionics of what's happened here. Okay, so basically what's happened is, in terms of our friend Mr. West, okay, the controversial rapper was obviously announced as a top act for the Wireless Festival. Yeah, this led to a big backlash, prompting multiple top brands to withdraw sponsorship. Okay, so what's happened here is now there's been a lot of condemnation. There's been a lot of critics that include the Mayor of London, Jewish leaders who in this country are very powerful. Okay, in a series of events, one of the events Kanye made was actually to go and meet with Jewish community leaders. Okay, in London, he thought he's going to be able to meet with Jewish community leaders and smooth this thing over. Okay, now the first thing I said when I heard that was that they're not going to meet with you. Okay, they're not gonna do it. The Jewish community don't work like that in this country. Okay, they don't move like that. Okay, so it is what it is. Okay, and what we had was people trying to defend it, directors and organizers of the concert were looking to defend, well, not so much defend, but justify Kanye's appearance. Okay, what we had was the managing director of the Wireless Festival himself coming out, yeah, who Mr. Melvin Bragg, who acknowledged that Kanye's previous comments were abhorrent, but defended booking him on the premise of forgiveness and giving it people a second chance has become a lost virtue in this ever decreasingly divisive world. That's what he believes, but we know that's all based on the premise of money and getting Kanye to attend as a headline act. Okay, he goes on to say much more, but as it stands, many of the key festival sponsors have pulled out. These include Pepsi. Okay, this was like one of the main leading brands sponsoring the event. Pepsi have pulled out. Diego have pulled out. Okay, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, they're the owners of the alcohol brands, Johnny Walker and Captain Morgan. They also issued a statement. Rockstar Energy Drink have pulled out, and PayPal have pulled out. Okay, Budweiser and Beatbox have pulled out. A lot of sponsors have pulled out, and Kanye himself, the fool. I've got no little name for him. I'll call him Kanye. But hey, I'll call him Kanye, or I take away the yay in this instance. I'll just call him rhymes with moon. But hey, Kanye, obviously, issued a previous statement regarding his own comments which he made, and he simply said he lost touch with reality during one of the worst manic episodes of his life, I guess, and gravitated towards the most destructive symbol I could find, the swastika, and even began selling t-shirts bearing it, which is an insanity, considering that he's your hero for a lot of you. So he's your hero, hero of the so-called black community, one of your lead boys, and I've addressed this before in the previous video. All he needs to do is drop us some good beats, a good album, and he's back on top with you. That's how shallow and weak you are. But this is what he said anyway. I regret that I am deeply mortified by my actions in that state, and am committed to accountability, treatment, and meaningful change. West also said, I do not excuse what I did, though I am not Nazi or anti-Semitic. I love Jewish people, whatever. Did your off-key album. Yeah, it's like a far-right album. It's like a black man doing a far-right album, embracing, Combat 18 logos, his signature. And for those who don't know, Combat 18, well, a lot of you wouldn't know because you're not on that. You're just victims, aren't you? You don't know about the enemy. But Combat 18 were a very far-right group, and it goes further than that. I mean, these people, these far-right groups now are quite pro-predominant now in politics, I mean, I was just saying to someone the other day, you've got the BNP still, the NF, Britain's First, Restore now, Reform. Okay, the Conservative Party is still, of that ilk, okay? That's not giving you 5 already. Okay, that's how it goes. But hey, like I said before, us cultured black folk of true identity, we're the wrongs of the wrong. So Kanye's right, remember. Kanye's right, and Jay-Z's right. And another thing, when these people, let's look at some of the previous attendees, of these concerts, Glastonbury, Wireless, Jay-Z, 2008, Snoop Dogg, 2010, Kanye himself, 2015, Stormzy, 2019. All these rappers rap about self-destruction and the glorification of the gun. Okay? They glorify bad man culture, which you all buy into, which firstly their own community bought into, elevated these people, they brought it out to the masses, So you're bringing out this self-destructive nonsense music, which it is, because it's not like uplifting hip hop anymore. It's not Public Enemy. It's not Big Daddy Kane. It's not even, dare I say, X-Clan. It's not Paris. It's not. I could go on and on. It's not on that ilk. Okay. So it interests me that when these rappers rap about their own destruction, when they rap about destruction and they glorify this bad man culture, they've got this crazy, it's like a black man on stage rapping about rapid negativity and people lapping it up. That's one thing. But when a Bob Vylan, that black guy with the locks who very recently offended, was in the media, which caused great offence when he chanted down and called for the unaliving of the IDF during last year's Glastonbury Festival, which was shown by the BBC. He got backlash. Okay. We had the Jewish security charity, Community Security Trust, which stated that there was a big spike in anti-Semitic incidents days after that performance. And many of the organisers were allegedly appalled by his performance, although they booked him and knew he was going to say, okay, let's not go there. Then we have obviously the Irish rap group Kneecap, who also made inappropriate anti-Semitic comments and remarks. And again, they were castigated. Okay? So what are we saying here? As a wider society, it's okay for black folk to rap about, well, forget black folks, okay for rappers to rap about negativity, call each other the N-word, calling for the self-destruction of each other. But yet, when Bob Vylan and these other guys talk about anti-Semitism, let's call it that for now, then that gets reaction. Okay? Now I can argue that the standard is different in different communities. The black community have normalised that. They normalised it, which was a big thing at the time, but now it seems they've normalised it. The Jewish community don't play. That can be said. different standards, okay? But ultimately, it becomes a thing when people like Charlie Kirk, who said certain things about black folk, are allowed to attend university debates when he himself is not an academic. So what elevates him to attend these these leading institutions and speak? The fact that he has racial elements, yeah, and not just him, yeah. Who was it? A little while back, I think there's been a few very far right commentators that have been invited to key institutions to speak. Okay, but yet Farrakhan was banned apparently, wasn't he? I think Louis Farrakhan was banned. So again, we need to look at this double standard. I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it as real. And if someone wants to come at me and debate me or do a response video, which I would not advise, because I'm just toying with ideas right now. But if you want to go there, then you're more than welcome to. Drop a little comment on the page. You're more than welcome to. You know what I mean? But as it stands, to me, should he be banned, Kanye? Yeah, I'm not a fan. That's not hip hop. Ban him. But at the same time, you know, what has that always perplexed me is the elevation of these negative rappers on stage that glorify the gun and the destruction of their own communities, which is permitted. But yet when another man of colour of a similar appearance says something against another community, that's not liked. It is what it is. As I say, facts no idea. You're not going to like what I say, as I normally say, but hey, it is what it is. Interesting scenario. Later.